I do think it's important to understand that we are now entering a new era internationally. I think the post-Cold War era is over because China is the senior partner and Russia is the junior partner. But it's the Axis together with its rogue state outriders like North Korea and Iran and Belarus that make the entire world a more dangerous place. I do think it's important to understand that we are now entering a new era internationally. I think the post-Cold War era is over. Obviously, the Cold War ended in 1991, and I think too many people in the West in particular felt that, as they said, we had reached the end of history, that there were no more threats in the world, that the collapse of the Soviet Union meant that we could cut our defense budgets, which we did. And these same voices said that China would not pose a threat to the rest of the world. It was engaged in a peaceful rise, that it would be a responsible stakeholder in world affairs, and that China's development would parallel the development of other successful democratic, market-oriented economies in the developing world. Now, in fact, as to China, the exact opposite has happened. Internationally, China has not been a responsible stakeholder. It has pursued mercantilist policies in what should be a free trade organization, and it has used all of its elements of power to achieve hegemony in the space near China and ultimately worldwide. Even after the attacks on the United States on 9/11, too many people in the West in particular thought we were on a holiday from reality. Growing Chinese and Russian threats were ignored or explained away. Russia attacked Georgia in 2008. Nobody paid any attention. Russia attacked Ukraine in 2014. Almost nothing happened. China militarized the South China Sea, and there were almost no objections. It has made repeated provocations in the East China Sea, most recently directed at Taiwan, and now we'll see what the reaction of the West is. I think the visit of Xi Jinping to Moscow and his meetings with Vladimir Putin really highlight the fact that in the new era we're in, there's a new axis between Beijing and Moscow, different from the Sino-Soviet alliance of Cold War days, because China is the senior partner and Russia is the junior partner. But it's the axis together with its rogue state outriders like North Korea and Iran and Belarus that make the entire world a more dangerous place. So I think what we need to do in the United States is awaken from this end of history dream that we've been in. And not just in politico-military terms, but in economic and social terms as well. And what Taiwan needs to do is to think in the larger context of East and South Asia, where the Chinese threat applies to many nations, that the Chinese threat to South Korea, like North Korea's threat to South Korea, directly affects Taiwan as well. In other words, in the new era that we're entering, because of the combined threats we're facing, the threat to Taiwan is part of a larger range of threats.